John Felt here, and this is a BWO Weather Weekly weather briefing for July 28th, 2024. I think the theme of this briefing will be hot weather, how long it'll persist in one spot, or will it be moving into other spots as well. Let's get started. I'd like to start off by looking at our weather threats this week. And really, it looks like hot weather, unusually hot weather. These are the current advisories that are out and watches. But you can sort of see that the heat here really covers a large part of the U.S. This is week 2. This is later this week. So areas of excessive heat around the nation. The other thing is, what's typical this time of year is some of the thunderstorms could be producing some heavy downpours that could result in localized flooding. And that is typical this time of year as the hot air can contain a lot of moisture. So temperatures last week, some areas had a break in the heat. These areas in blue were below normal. Areas in red, especially the southwest U.S., and you've heard about wildfires in parts of the western U.S. due to the very hot and dry conditions. If we look at the hottest temperatures last week, the areas I have circled here had a reprieve from summer heat. High temperatures only in the upper 70s into the 80s. But look at that southwest U.S. Areas in the southwest looks like they made it up to 115. So a very hot summer over parts of the southwest. The north central U.S., the northern Rockies, also had a hot week with temperatures above the 100-degree mark. Okay, so right smack through the middle part of the nation, a lot of humidity. So when we get these hot temperatures, if you're in that central part with dew points in the 70s, it is going to feel pretty sultry with that combination of heat and humidity. Now rivers are starting to really go down. Remember, we had a major flood here I've talked about for quite some time. All those rivers are dropping and we're getting in pretty good shape. I think they're all going to be below flood stage before long. The heavy rain over the last week, wanted to show you that here. This is that heavy rain over the last week along the coastal parts of Texas and parts of the mid-Atlantic region. What that has done here is that has brought some higher flows in those areas, including flood flows, and you can see those in orange and red. But we still have areas of unusually low river flows, and these are indicated in the red dots in this image here. Okay, so let's get going and looking at the forecast here, and it's all going to be sort of really dominated by this ridge of high pressure. If you're under this ridge of high pressure, it is going to be unusually hot, and all summer long it's just sort of gone back and forth, sort of pushed north, pulled back, and depending on where that is going to really determine your weather. So this is later this week, and it covers most of the nation, sort of centered over the Rockies, but really is going to dominate a large part of the U.S. Now I wanted to go a little bit further out. This is a week from Monday, August 5th, and what we have here, and this has sort of been a pattern repeating all summer, we're getting that sort of wavy pattern again, and that's going to probably bring a backdoor cold front down into the Great Lakes, maybe parts of the northeast U.S., but the western U.S., that ridge is still going to be there, so we're looking at prolonged, very hot conditions, also very dry, and that means the wildfire risk will also be significant. So we take a look at temperatures here this week. You can see many areas of the country, a majority of the country, above normal temperatures. We get into the August 2nd through 7th. You can see a hint, look at that blue, a little hint of that cooler air pushing down. But the western U.S., look at Idaho, parts of Montana, the Pacific Northwest, 10 to 15 degrees, maybe even more above normal. And then as we get through the 7th through 12th of August, a bit of a break in the heat over the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. That's the area of blue. But the western U.S., if you are in any of the western U.S. states, it is going to be a multi-week period of above normal temperatures. Okay, so I haven't really focused on the tropics lately, but it does look like this week we are going to get some tropical development. I'll be focusing more on that later this week, but I wanted to bring it to your attention that the Caribbean could be seeing some tropical development this week. Okay, as far as the rainfall forecast goes, It looks really pretty dry over most areas except for the eastern third of the nation where we're going to have scattered thunderstorms. These are mainly the afternoon and evening thunderstorms that pop up, but parts of the Appalachian region could get heavier rain, and some of these thunderstorms could produce some localized heavy rain. Okay, so let's go into week 2 here, and this is not showing as much of a cool down here. I think this is going to be a little bit cooler than this is indicating, but I think the points to mention here, take a look at this 6 to 10 and 8 to 14. This region here is going to be really baking, and we're going to have somewhat of a significant, if not historic, heat wave in that area. And the East Coast will have more mugginess, so this region here is going to be very hot and muggy as well. I also want to show you that it looks like a very dry condition, so not only unusually hot, but pretty much bone dry in many areas as well. So to conclude the briefing, it does look like we're going to be talking about hot weather at least into early or mid-August for some parts of the nation, particularly this week, the central and western U.S. Next week, the western U.S. and the mid-Atlantic looks hot and muggy as well. That's this week's briefing, and I will be updating you on the tropics this week. And I've got a couple other things on my schedule here. I've just got to decide what's most important for you to know this week. Have a great week. Take care.